Alright guys, I'm back and it's been 3 weeks? Oh my god. I am so sorry you guys. It will never, and I mean never, happen again. But in those 3 weeks, Sonic Movie 3 came out. And as my Christmas present to you guys, I'm gonna give you a review. Let's stop wasting any time, let's get into it. What I first have to say is, this movie is a great improvement from the other two. It has a ton of references to the games. Well, it's basically an adaptation of one of the best games, Sonic Adventure 2, and implements it into this movie universe. It doesn't take away any of the characters that made what I think made the movie stand out. Like, they don't take away any of the human characters. Usually in like CGI character movies, they take away the humans like second movie tops. Like, okay, let's say in Alvin and the Chipmunks, their owner, like, in the second or third movie, he literally died. But good thing they didn't do anything like that in this movie. They still kept the humans there, but just not as prevalent in the plot. Which leads us to characters, and especially Shadow. I think that they deal with his backstory fairly well. With him coming from an alien planet in a comet, that sort of simplifies his creation, you know? Because instead of having to explain the creation of Shadow, like, you know, Bio Lizard, Maria having space sickness, all they can say is he's from Black Doom or from a comet, which is easier in a movie universe like this, more grounded. Which leads me to this, his backstory. Again, specifically the Maria portion. I really like how they sprinkle little parts of their relationship into the movie. They don't really fully reveal it until like the final part, or the climax I should say, or when it really matters. Like at the beginning, they have like little flashes of Maria in the beginning, a little here and there, but when Shadow goes to the gun underground base, we find out the full truth. And then later when it gets serious, we find out how Maria dies. And I'm sorry to disappoint you guys, Maria doesn't technically get shot up, she gets blown up. Definitely makes it much better. But going back to the topic of the flashbacks, I like how it shows that Maria really was the only one that wanted to have fun with Shadow. Shadow was in a whole lab with serious scientists, and all Maria wanted to do was just have fun. And that shows they're real friends. And I really like the part when they're watching a Godzilla movie, and they say, "Beware the alien scum." It kind of takes Shadow back a little bit because it shares some of the character beats with Movie Sonic. It shows that they are more similar than you realize. Which brings me to the final act of the movie. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the first couple parts of the movie are like, okay, this is pretty good. But it ascends into peak fiction. Because if the movie just stayed mellow like that, like similar to Sonic Movie 2, then I'll be like, okay, this movie's like a 6, 7. But as soon as we get to the part where Tom gets brutally punched by Shadow, it becomes peak fiction. Because then, after Tom gets beat up and get put into the hospital, Movie Sonic starts to crash out. Like the part where Movie Sonic threatens Knuckles that if he doesn't give him the Master Emerald, which helps him turn into Super Me, he was implying that he was going to kill him, or fight him, at least. Which was crazy to see. It was also great in seeing Movie Sonic become alone and then fight Shadow. And then we get into the most great fight I have seen in video game movie history. The Movie Sonic versus Shadow fight. Bro, the fact that they literally run across the planet in the fight is crazy. And you know what else is crazy? The fight also has emotional impact. Like, in Sonic Movie 2, the fights had pretty good, you know, choreography and action, but not too much emotional weight to them. Because in this, Movie Sonic is filled with rage and anger because, you know, Shadow punched Tom and landed him in the hospital. And Shadow mentions why Movie Sonic is fighting him. He says that it was to protect his friends, but he left all his friends. He abandoned them to fight him. He said he was becoming just like him. And then they make it to the moon. Shadow sees the view of the stars and remembers Maria, remembers his past, and asks Sonic if he ever missed someone. Sonic responds and says he missed Longclaw. And then that's something that they both can relate to, the loss of a loved one. And that's something that the games couldn't provide. They both have a better understanding of each other's past. And then we get the most peak scene in cinema history.
Always have a choice. But making the right one is never easy. One more thing I learned is that when you really screw something up, you can't fix it on your own.
And with that, I have nothing else to say. Our review is over. But before we get into our score, I have to mention, oh my god, the post-credits scene is so funny. I'll show a few snippets and videos, small ones, yes.
Okay, so how do I... What? Who are you?
How was that? Hope I didn't get copyrighted. Anyways, the post-credit scenes. Metal Movie Me. Oh my god, he looks, I couldn't even complain about it. He was so good. And even Amy, she looks pretty cool too, with her cloak thing and her hood and her hammer. Anyways, let's get into the score. And, okay, just look at this. If Rotten Tomatoes is giving this a 9, then, I have to give this a 9 too. It's way better than the other ones, and a final act can really help a movie, you know? Can really save it. Anyways, that'll be it, and please don't let me do this again. Please don't let me have a 3-week break. Hey, what you guys doing here?
Keanu?